Same thing goes right here. We're just gonna listen and learn how these women and men think about, you know, the topic that is being talked about in this video. So let's listen, observe, and try and understand how this world is running, how the society is going right now. So let's listen.
Just hypothetically, if you were on a job interview, would you prefer to be in the position of the person doing the hiring
or the one who is the applicant submitting your resume?
No, doing the hiring for sure.
For sure.
Yeah,
Why is
because
that?
you have authority and it's up to you whether they get the job or not.
Because you're the decider, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the comparison between that situation and when a man approaches a woman to ask her out on a date? He's applying
The woman is the decider.
The woman is the decider, right?
Yes.
Isn't that an awfully privileged position to be in?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And would you say that when a man approaches a woman, he's seeking her approval?
Yes.
Okay.
the one
The
hiring?
one in control.
The one in control, right? Most
Yeah.
people would say that, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think? Because you're the decider, right?
Yeah, you have the power.
Can you see the similarity between that situation and when a man approaches a woman like they typically do, you know, to ask her out on a date or a
Because
relationship?
men hit on women, women don't really hit on men.
Right.
Yes.
Women don't typically approach men, right?
Yeah.
So basically, a man approaches a woman, typically she's the decider. Isn't that an awfully privileged position to be in?
It is, but I feel like that's kind of like society.
Right.
Yeah.
Norms that we've grown up in.
So.
Also, well, I don't think part of it. I don't want to necessarily call it privilege because think about like when you go to New York and you get catcalled. I want to
Okay.
call that a privilege, and yet that's a man hitting on a woman.
There's also a danger factor for us that I don't think a lot of men consider because they don't walk around feeling unsafe most of the time. So for us, if a man walks up to us and says, "I like your tits," we automatically feel like we're in danger.
Yeah, and we might have to then carry our keys in our hand like weapons
Exactly.
because he might be stalking us the rest of the way home, which has happened to most women.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, right, but I'm saying that's kind of like the toxic side of, you know, men hitting on women. But at the same time, let me ask you this question then. And I'm not denying that, like, you know, catcalling and harassment happens. It certainly does. Would you personally be willing to give up the occasional catcalling or harassment if it meant that you never ever got any attention whatsoever or special treatment?
I mean, I want attention, but I don't want to be catcalled.
But here's the thing: isn't that kind of like saying I want to be a celebrity, but I don't want to have to ever deal with any paparazzi?
I mean, yeah, that's one way of looking at
So-
it.
Like, no matter what, there's always going to be a double-edged sword to any topic that you look at, and I feel like that's one because, yeah, I feel like females, yes, we do want attention, but the thing is, at the same token, we only want attention from certain people.
Right, but I'm saying life isn't really kind of like an a la carte situation. You kind
Right.
of have to take the bad with the good, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this is true? A true statement here. Do
Okay.
you think it's true that women often find attractive men cute and romantic when an ugly one doing the exact same thing is creepy?
Yes, because the women want to see what they want to see, and that sometimes
So-
bases on looks.
Do you think it is realistic that nobody should ever feel unsafe?
Yes. I don't know that it's possible.
So it's not realistic then, right?
Probably not.
Okay. So do you think that it's
It'd be ideal, but
well, we should obviously all aim for that, but I mean, I'm just saying, is it realistic? I mean, there's a lot of people I think nowadays who get very angry at the way things are because they expect to just feel safe all the time. And I'm saying, well, you know, that's life. You got to take risks sometimes, right?
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I really don't know, man. I can't even like date as a woman. It's hard because you're just like skeptical of everyone because you have all these bad experiences, and it's just you kind of like group all men together as the same thing, and you're just skeptical.
Like, let's say that a guy like buys like a flashy car or something like that, right?
Okay.
Is he doing? I mean,
Oh yeah.
isn't he doing that kind of stuff to try to like
he
get
would do it for women, yeah.
for a woman? Okay.
to get
Or like
attention or like show off.
or like maybe like, okay, look at nightclub culture and stuff, right?
Okay.
Women typically get in for free. Who are the ones in there spending all the money?
Men, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're putting the money towards women.
They're trying
that's where all
to
the money is.
they're trying to impress women
Yeah, impressed.
to
yeah.
try to seek their approval, right?
I
Okay.
agree.
So what I'd like to know is, do you believe that being in love requires you to be vulnerable?
Definitely.
I think that pretty much goes without saying. How can you make yourself vulnerable without getting taken advantage of?
Okay, I'm gonna have to think about that. I think there's always a risk and being vulnerable, right? But if we're not vulnerable, then we're never gonna know like what's possible, right? If I'm a life coach, disclaimer, but like if we always have this wall up, then we're not gonna be able to connect with the other person, right? And so if we're not vulnerable, like you can't truly be in a relationship and you're never gonna know what that love really is.
Have you ever heard of a dating coach or a pickup artist?
A dating coach.
A dating coach. Would you say that there are more dating coaches for men than there are for women?
Yeah.
Or pickup artists, right? What a pickup artist is like a
For
man,
men, yeah.
a man who teaches men how to go up to women and
girls,
get their attraction like that, right?
Yeah.
But
that's true.
there's more of them than for men than there are for women, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that because they're trying to teach men how to seek women's approval? Here's my question: if men are constantly trying to seek women's approval,
Yes.
why do so many people think we're living in a male-dominated society?
That's a good question. But I also feel like there's different situations. So all the questions you asked me have to do with dating.
Right.
And in that sequence or in that situation, yes, you're right.
What? That what?
Yeah, you're right with like it is women that are kind of like giving the higher power.
Women
when
have
it comes to dating,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That they have a connection.
I think that it's totally about looks at first, and then
Like you're attracted to them because they're like beauty or
Yes,
whatever.
you're attracted because of the beauty, but then after that, what holds up the relationship
is like their
is the connection
personality and not
Okay.
connection.
Do you think it's harder to find a relationship or to maintain a relationship?
maintain a relationship.
Find. I think
maintain.
I think it depends on the person, but overall, if you're a compromising person, it takes more to find a person that you're willing to compromise and meet in the middle with than it does to actually compromise with them.
No. Wait, what was the question again?
Okay, well,
Compromising or maintaining? Like finding someone
Dude.
or maintaining?
What's the next question?
okay.
That was a really good point, though. Like, with just the fact that, like, I don't know, just the fact that you say, like, it's a men's world, but then you look into dating and it really is like a woman's world, you know? Like, we do have, like, the say a lot in
Right.
who we date and who we see.
If any of you happen to be looking for a quality man, where would you expect to find him?
Not in Las
Life is beautiful!
Library! Let's be real, in a library.
Life is beautiful.
At the UNLV library.
I want a festy bestie, mans. I have
All
one
right,
though.
well, let me try this now, related to that. Have you ever noticed a correlation between the music people listen to and the quality of their character?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Oh, for sure. I can't like connect with somebody. Oh.
Hey,
I
hey,
cannot.
hey, sorry.
We're doing a real interview.
We can come back and do that afterwards. Thank you. Be respectful.
Thanks. I cannot connect with somebody that does not have the same music taste as me. 1,000,000%. I think that kind of like shows someone's characteristics,
Right.
and you can vibe off of like same music taste and stuff, right?
Right. Well, like in all fairness, like, have you ever noticed that like if you go to like a Bob Marley reggae concert, it's a lot different than if you go to like like a gangster rap
like
show.
a rap.
You know what I mean, right?
Exactly. I would way rather like a chill guy who can vibe than like one that's like trapping, only listen to ASAP
However,
Ferg.
if you've heard the recent interview with, I don't know her real name, but the woman who plays Meredith on Grey's Anatomy,
Okay.
she talked about how she's a feminist, but she considers herself a bad feminist because she still listens to rap music, which degrades women.
I was just going to ask you
Yes,
about that.
but-
I was just going to ask you about that. Yes.
But she still finds quality within herself, even though she listens to music that holds different opinions.
Okay.
It's what every person should understand is we have to open up. Like, we have to be willing to look at ourselves and, know that if somebody on the outside is upsetting us, that has to do with us and not the other person. And so I can't say it's like a man or a woman thing. Like, just be willing to look at yourself and know that you have flaws and be willing to work on those and worry more about your flaws than the other person's.
Spoken like a true life coach. I think that's a great answer. No, I mean, obviously, I think that's very important. Absolutely. If we live in a male-dominated society, why would men allow women to have the power in dating, which is pretty much what most men want from women, right? Is relationships and dating, right?
Yes, approval.
So why would if we were in charge, wouldn't we basically say, hey, we have all the power in dating. You have to basically be with us.
But the only reason that is not the case is because this is, I mean, a free country, and we're able to say no if we want to.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. All right. You said you're married, right?
15 years.
15 years.
We got married here in July.
Oh, sorry.
2004.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
We got married here in July in 2004, so 15 years we've been married.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, like, let's say you were single, right? If you happen to be looking for a quality man, where would you expect to find one?
You know, I don't think we could be judgmental. I met my husband at a bar after I told my dad I wasn't going to find a guy in a bar. So, I mean, I think you just have to be open and know that whatever relationships you've had to skew your mind to think that there's not somebody out there for you, to trust and know that there is somebody out there for you, and to like know what qualities you're really looking for, and to be able to trust that that's out there, and like who knows where you're going to find it.
One thing I think is very interesting that a lot of people will tell me is just the importance of communication in relationships. And it's like, we can all agree on that, but the problem is nobody communicates. Most people prefer texting instead of talking, and not engaging with their environment, socializing in places where it's too loud to have a conversation. So I agree. I think there's just a lack of self-awareness in people. And so I'm just wondering, like, you know, is there anything that we can do to try to, like, maybe just help make people a little more self-aware without maybe them feeling like they're being attacked or being judged or something like that?
That was a lot.
Well, just, I mean, you know, do you think people are open to constructive criticism, or?
Not really. Like, I don't think they are. I think we're all looking. I think a lot of the society is looking to be offended. What can I be pissed off about today? Who can offend me? And, you know, what's going on out there that I can be angry about, instead of looking at like what I have and what I can be grateful for and what I can do to make a difference in the world.
What do you think is causing that?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just asking because I as a life coach.
Like, we have this generation of people that I don't know.
Do you think it's a generational thing, or it's a cultural thing, or? Because I mean, have you traveled? Have you been to other cultures? I'm wondering if you've.
I haven't been to other cultures, so I can't speak on that. But I do think there's a difference from, like, so I have an 18-year-old son, and like what I believe, like working hard and, you know, working hard to get to where you want to be, and he's like, no, like, you shouldn't have to work so hard. Like, why do you think that? And I'm like, what? And so I'm really trying to be open and understanding instead of so rigid and like thinking my way's the way. Like, I'm really looking to be open. So I think if more of us were willing to be open and looking to see just what, you know, the universe has to teach us, we'd probably learn a lot more.
It reminds me of that. There's a famous quote that says, "Your mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work if it's not open."
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I haven't heard that one. Awesome.